Well, Mary Kay, these receivers do not lack for confidence. Josh Gordon says that he thinks this is the best receiving core in the NFL. Jarvis Landry, as we'd expect, is not going to back away from a comment like that. He believes he's the best receiver in the NFL. He said that a few weeks ago. So let's ask this question: how good can this receiving core actually be?
Well, Dan, actually, you and I were talking about this a little bit earlier today. If Josh Gordon can stay healthy, and if Antonio Callaway can stay healthy, if those two guys can stay on the field, and I don't just mean healthy from a physical standpoint, I'm talking about in the substance abuse program, if they can stay on the field and stay with this team, it has a chance to be a really good receiving core and probably one of the best in the NFL. If anything happens with one of those two guys, then I think, you're starting to look at more of an ordinary receiving core.
Yeah, and that's the thing. There are just some big ifs. Like, we know what Jarvis Landry can do. You can kind of pencil him in for a bunch of catches, and he'll get you in the end zone, in the red zone. But the other guys, there are ifs. You mentioned Josh Gordon. You mentioned Callaway. Corey Coleman has to take a big leap in year number 3. He has to prove a lot to this coaching staff that he can be this team's, number 2 receiver on the outside, or he can develop into a slot receiver, maybe behind Landry, something like that. There's just a lot of ifs that are still in this receiving core. There
really are, and I think that one of the most disappointing things of this offseason so far was the fact that they really did not get a good look at Antonio Callaway. He pulled a groin muscle a couple of weeks ago, and he has not been out there for the last few weeks that we've seen. So he missed the entire mini camp, he missed the last couple of weeks of OTAs, and he was really supposed to press Corey Coleman. So hopefully for everyone, he'll get back out there in camp and start nipping at Corey's heels.
And if we're going to talk about the receiving core, I think we also have to include Duke Johnson in that mix, because he'll line up in the slot, he'll even line up on the outside sometimes, and even a guy like David Njoku will line up a lot as wide receivers. So maybe those guys technically aren't a part of that group, but they're guys that if they have big years will certainly help this offense as far as receiving goes.
Right. If you look at them just in terms of pass catchers, they have a lot of pass catchers, including Seth Duvall. So you mentioned all those guys, and they should have a very prolific passing game. And just so that people know, the first team wides have been Josh Gordon and Jarvis Landry, both on the outside, and Jarvis has been primarily a slot receiver, but he's been on the outside in 2 wides. In 3 wides, he moves inside to the slot, and Corey Coleman's been outside opposite Josh Gordon. So lots of things that they can do with this receiving core, and they are very good.
Yeah, and I think you mentioned, I think we will see Jarvis Landry used a little bit differently here than he was in Miami. All kinds of receiver talk at cleveland.com/Browns. Quarterbacks, everything. Check it all out when you get a chance.